I'm like, why? It's all of the one procedural, functional, object. I mean, they're all listed.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Mike.
Would you like to play a game?
How about a nice game of chess?
How about a programming game instead?
Oh, let's do that.
All right. Welcome to Hacking the Grepson, where today we will be talking about a new daily web game, of which there are so many now, ever since Wordle became popular. There's obviously Wordle-like clones, lots of word games, but there's Guess the Movie game, Guess the Song game, but there's also a new one that I found a few weeks ago called Progle. And basically they have two modes every day where you have to guess a programming language from its characteristics, like whether it's strong or weak typed, when it first came out year-wise, how many GitHub repos it has, what kind of syntax.
That's the classic mode that has
classic, yes. Well, that's all there was initially.
Yes.
But then the dev added a code mode where he basically gives you a block of code, except most of it is obscured, and then as you guess which language it is, he slowly unobscures more of the code block to help you figure out what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's super fun. I wasn't sure if it would hold interest beyond the first time I tried it, but he's improved the game, added that code mode. He's added more programming languages, some of them I've never heard of.
I would say about half of them I've never heard of.
Yeah, but he's added even more beyond that. I mean, he doesn't have cat code or
I haven't seen Mind
Neon code or something.
I haven't. Nyan code. I haven't seen the one that's just white space.
Brain F.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch more he could add, but anyway, I think it's super fun. Some days I do really well, other days I don't. I think I like the code mode better because it's easier and has more context clues.
Yes.
So it's more easier to figure it out. But I feel like classic mode, where you basically guess a language, it gives you characteristics about it, and green if you've matched all the characteristics of the right one, yellow if you got some of the characteristics of that particular category, and red if you missed the boat, or if we're talking about things like the appearance of the language or how many GitHub repos it has, it will give you a little arrow saying like there's more or less than the one you guessed. Yeah. That one's harder. It's but I feel like I'm learning more as I do it, but at the same time, like, I feel more frustrated because it's just more difficult. How do you feel about it, Matt?
Basically identical to what you just said.
Okay, well, thank you for... No.
So classic mode, I actually found it really irritating at first.
Yeah.
Part of this is I only play these games on my phone for the most part. Mm-hmm. And as you and I were discussing earlier, this is much more of a horizontal landscape style requirement than like Wordle, which expects you to be. In fact, if you rotate your phone when you're doing Wordle, it's like, don't do that.
It does.
It yells at you. Yes. And this one almost has to be in landscape mode.
And even then, you still can't fit all of the columns of classic mode.
But I found I really like it. The way I like to play it, actually, because just like with Wordle, there's no clues when you start in classic mode. Mm-hmm. You just type in a word in Wordle and then you get context. The same thing is true for classic mode here. You pick a language and then you get context. In code mode, you get context right away. You can see a little bit of syntax highlighting. I think it's like keywords are sort of this orange color and the rest of it is purple. And then I think the file name's at the top in gray for when you really can't get it, which is the other reason I like code mode. I almost never have to go past the file name getting revealed. I'm like, oh, that's clearly JavaScript because it's .js. So there's context and there's actual, like, it reveals a little bit of the code.
Mm-hmm. So if you've seen the code, that's,
And or like, the code today is looking at it. I can tell that it's, the assignment operator is just a single equals. It's not a colon equals, so it's probably not Pascal or Ada or any of those things, right? If a bunch of parentheses pop up, you're like, Lisp, right? Like, you can tell things just from what's there, but it gives you a place to start.
Yes.
So, like, today's turned out to be really easy because the name of the program language was actually in the code.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he meant to do that.
I don't think he did. Yeah. But generally, it's not that easy.
Right.
And you have to look at all that. But then I like to get code mode, figure it out, and then I use that as my seed, as my initial guess in the classic mode. And that journey I find very fun. It's like I solved a problem, and then I take that and I make that the start of a new problem. And then, like you said, like I don't know what year most of these things came out. I don't know a lot of this stuff. I certainly don't know how many GitHub repos are. That's just a guess of like
its popularity.
How popular is this?
Yeah.
But like very surprised looking at this that C only has 2.4 million GitHub repos. That is surprising to me.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee there's more programs written in C.
Yes.
Over the course of it since 1972.
But GitHub has not existed that
exactly.
long. Right.
Yeah.
And most people who are starting programming in the GitHub era are not starting with C.
Right. And so, like, when I see if it's a very high GitHub number, I'm going to go towards things like Java, JavaScript, the things that are probably Python, things that have a low barrier to entry now.
Right. Interpretive, not compiled.
Yes.
One thing you just made me think about code mode that I actually find that it could be harder than classic mode, despite me thinking classic mode is generally harder, is that with classic mode, even if you don't know the language, you can, and this is basically how you solve it if you don't know, is you're using these context clues of like what kind of type system it uses. Is it compiled or not? Is it garbage collected or not? And you can slowly whittle down, okay, well, it can't be this because it's obviously garbage collected. Whereas code mode, if you don't recognize the syntax, you just don't recognize the syntax and you have no other clue how to figure it out. And so there was...
Until it gets to the file name.
Right.
Which is why I really appreciate that file name.
I didn't notice. I wasn't sure if it always gave that. Maybe I've never noticed that if you go to, if you guess 10 in, it gives you that. But even then, you still might not know it if you don't recognize what the extension is,
But usually it's enough to give you a clue. If it ends in like .ws, you can be like, oh, that might be
WebAssembly or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know what WebAssembly actually is. Yeah, there's some languages in here I'd never heard of WebAssembly. I have no idea what Zig is. I assume Wolfram is used in Wolfram Alpha.
Right, but I didn't know that was like or like there was it Bicep and
Bicep. Oh, Bicep's not in there. Oh, it might only be in classic mode. Oh, I don't have access to that right now.
Yeah.
But there was like Bicep, but then there's things I just never. I will probably never use in here. Julia, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
And then there's ones I've heard of that I just don't know what they look like.
Right.
But yeah, you're definitely right that looking at code mode can be a longer slog, but I think my maximum number of guesses has absolutely been in classic mode. Where I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
I've guessed everything. It's a modern language that no one knows. I'm just going to go down the list. Right. Oh, it was Clojure. Of course it was.
Right.
I've never seen Clojure.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I think, this is one of the interesting daily games. I think it's the only daily game that I play that is actually being educational. Because the more I do of this, the more I learn, oh, that's what that program, or that's what that language is for. That's when it came, that's what it's used for,
I think Worldle is the only other one I would say counts as like educational that I did on a regular basis anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I do a lot of the movie and TV based ones because I like that, and I have a.
Yeah, you're always doing that
actoral, yeah.
And I've tried that a couple of times and can never get it.
I just have a repository of trivia stuck in my brain that I'm usually, so I enjoy doing that, but most people don't. And I wouldn't say like learning what movies Jason Sudeikis is in is educational at all. But like geography, okay, one could argue that. Programming languages, one can argue that.
Yeah.
And it is interesting. Yeah, here I pulled up the longer list. Ballerina.
Never heard of it.
Bicep.
Nope.
What was the other ones I'd never heard of? D. No, I've heard of D. Dart. No.
I have heard of that, but I've never used it.
Julia again.
I mean, I've heard of Julia and Kotlin, but I've never used it.
Yeah. And then the ones that we already mentioned.
Yeah.
Zig.
But yeah, I noticed that he added in like CSS and HTML and
XML. Yeah.
XML. I mean, that's another thing I appreciate about this is the guy who made this obviously
He's iterating on it.
He is iterating, and he's a dev, and he obviously has like a good knowledge of these languages enough, especially to make code mode, because knowing exactly how to slowly unobscure the details of the block to have like a proper difficulty curve definitely takes some knowledge of the language, so that he doesn't accidentally give away, or that they don't accidentally give away a huge thing in the second step, you know?
Yeah. I just learned while we were recording this that it is rolled over to tomorrow.
Oh.
So I'm trying not to look at code mode now.
Okay, and yes, and I'm not looking at anything you've done on your screen.
Because I was like, oh, it's got a different keyword in there. And I clicked the thing it was yesterday. And I was
maybe
like,
this is on GMT.
Maybe, yeah, because it happened at 5 o'clock Pacific.
Yes.
So yeah, that was interesting. I didn't expect that. Anyway,
close that window right now.
Continue. Yeah.
So if you had any criticisms for just the general design of this, what would they be?
My number one criticism is I am never going to type in the name of the programming language. I'm always going to use the drop down, and I would like it to not bring up my keyboard on your phone.
Yeah. Because it takes up half the screen
Yeah.
and you don't need it to.
Other than that, I really don't have. Maybe it would be kind of neat if when you did get to the language, if it like linked you off to the Wikipedia article or something, as a place to learn more. Because a lot of times, especially when it's an obscure language, I'm like, I go and look it up, and that's an extra manual step for me. And then,
well, you also had the idea of like how you use your answer for code mode in classic mode, and maybe that should just be the journey. It's weird that they're two separate things.
Yeah, I would just link that all together. It's you have to get through code mode to get the seed into classic mode, and then you have to figure it out from there.
Yeah.
And it's how many steps does it take you to do that? Mm-hmm. And then, but I think where it falls apart doing that is, one, some people might not want to do that, but also there isn't currently a good way of representing like your guesses in code mode. It's just like, I guessed it in 5 or whatever. Right. So I think that may not be feasible. And even in classic mode, it only shows you like your first 3 guesses, I think. Mm-hmm. I would like to see that entire block. I would love when we have like those like 13 language guess days. Mm-hmm. That I would love the emoji map to be the whole thing. Because we share it on Slack. We can have a full page. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm not sharing it on Twitter. I would love to get that full emoji list out there.
Yeah, well, and speaking of which, when I first started doing this, the only way to share your progress was on Twitter. Yeah. It was the share button was literally a link to the share text on Twitter. Yeah. And I actually talked to the dev, and I was like, hey, I mean, thank you for this awesome web app, but it would be really cool to just be able to copy the text and put it anywhere. And he responded and changed it. So thank you.
Within a day.
Yeah, thank you, developer. Actually, can we say, I think at the bottom of it says
Griffle.
Yeah, if you go to this person's website,
Mikala Warda?
Yeah, we're probably butchering that, and I'm sorry.
His last name is closer to the name of the guy who invented Wordle than anyone else's so far. Warda.
Yeah, Wardell. So thank you, Michael. I'm not sure.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Mr. Griffle, for making this. I look forward to adding more programming. I'm trying to think of like what would be like another direction to take this in. I mean, it's so good right now. Like, I think having these two separate things, somehow fusing them together could be cool. But even if they say separate, that's good. But like, what else can you do with this model to like make it, like, is there a third mode or is there some kind of hybrid mode? I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing because it's like, this is a development podcast. This is like a development website, app, game.
It could go in reverse.
What do you mean?
Like for reverse of classic mode could be that you click on one of the squares of the information. What were they?
So it like gives you the statistics.
So like you could click on anything other than language. Like, all right, I want to know if it's garbage collected. And it tells you the actual answer there, and then you have to guess, and then like if you could choose what to reveal, if it didn't tell you based on that. So like there's a bit of a reverse you could do with that.
Yeah.
Like how many, like I would almost always go typed. I would probably go more or less. I would probably go syntax style first.
Yeah.
That tells me more than anything else. Syntax style, typed, and then depending on the answer to that, I would go to compiled or garbage collected. Known for building is often useful.
Yeah, especially when it says like MS or not or Apple.
Yeah,
like
or when it's just like web, and I'm like, okay, well that very much narrows it when it's just web.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the other hard one is like when the syntax style is like other or something like that, or it's when it's only like one thing, it's
or when the paradigms was blank. That was fun.
Yes.
Like why it's all of the one procedural, functional. I mean, they're all listed.
Yeah. Is it all of them or none of them?
It's none of them apparently.
Yeah. It just is. It is its own thing. It's its own paradigm. Yeah. Okay. Well. I think this is a really cool daily game. It's definitely gone into my daily cycle of things that I check every day, and I think it's probably like one of my favorites. Like I really look forward to figuring this one out. Although I wonder, because unlike Wordle, where there's like thousands of potential words, here there's like maybe a few dozen languages. Like, does this have legs in the long term?
That's the question, because eventually it's going to start repeating. Right now I know, well, okay, I'm not going to guess that because it was yesterday's word, but I'm also going to forget what the words were or what the languages were rather, and so they probably could have legs. A lot of it is going to play into the way I play it, because it's code mode into classic mode.
Right.
Will give it some legs, just because as long as the pairing differs, I will get different answers when I go into classic mode.
Right.
I don't know what that one is.
Yeah. All right. Well, definitely check out Progle. It's at progle.net. There's a new classic and code mode every day. And if you have thoughts about it, let us know. We're at hackingthegrepson.com. You can find contact information there. We're still on Twitter for the time being. Any parting thoughts?
Nope.
All right. We now return you to your regularly scheduled lives, already in progress.